Hello, yogis, and welcome to our shoulder opening class. In this class, we're going to focus on creating expansion in the shoulders, externally rotating the shoulders, which is the opposite of what we normally do. Most of us are working on computers, sitting at desks, writing, so always the shoulders are internally rounded. In today's class, we're going to strengthen, stretch, and open the shoulders, which will allow us to have more of a proper alignment in the neck, all the way down to the low back and the hips. So we're going to begin by coming into Balasana, child's pose. For this variation, we'll keep the knees together and extend the arms back behind us toward the feet, palms facing up to the sky. Just allow the forehead to surrender completely to the earth, the shoulders to move toward the earth as you create some stretch and expansion across the back body. If this is too much for you, you can extend the arms forward for a little more support in the shoulders, or you can create a cushion with your hands and place the head on the hands. Let's begin with a deep cleansing breath. Inhale through your nose and open your mouth. Exhale, let it go. Inhale through your nose and open your mouth. Exhale, let go. One more breath, just like that. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Just allow all of the thoughts outside of this practice to move to the periphery of your awareness and find yourself arriving fully and completely in this present moment. Know that everything will be there for you to return to after your practice. But this is the time you've set aside for yourself. So be here fully. Let's rise up to a kneeling position on our inhale. And then as you exhale, come onto the elbows. Place those elbows directly under the shoulders. Hands extend forward. And then lift the sit bones up to the sky, coming into a dolphin pose. So in this position, it's just like a downward facing dog, except we're resting on the forearms. We'll strengthen the shoulders, create some blood flow here. Sit bones press up toward the sky. And then sink the heels just a little bit farther down to your mat. Crown of the head moving toward the earth. If you find that that crown of your head is resting on the mat, you can walk your feet just a little closer towards your shoulders. You want to have space for the neck to be open and light. And then just notice the sensations in your shoulders as we build some strength. Feel the sensation and breathe into it. Back of the heart, moving toward the front of the heart. If you find that this is too much, you can always drop down to your knees and come back in. We'll be here for another few breaths. And then from here, let's walk the feet toward the back of the mat, coming into a dolphin plank pose. So once again, shoulders are aligned over the elbows. We want a straight line through the spine from the crown of the head all the way down through the tailbone. So make sure that those hips are not sinking down to the earth, but rather engage your belly, pull the belly button toward the spine, building strength, creating some blood flow into the shoulder area. This will make it easier to open and stretch. Stay here. Make sure the crown of the head is moving to the top of the mat, so not collapsing the chin down toward the chest. You might feel a little shake asana. That's okay. That is your body's way of becoming stronger. Let's now lower the hips down to the mat, untuck the toes, move the heart toward the top of the mat, and then lower the forehead. Place the hands to the outsides of your mat in line with your shoulders. And on an inhale, rise up. On an exhale, drop the right shoulder to the mat. Inhale, back up. And then exhale, left shoulder dipping down toward the mat. Inhale, rise. Exhale, drop the right shoulder. Inhale to lift. And exhale, drop the left shoulder. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, right shoulder to the mat, elbow still pointing to the sky. Inhale, lift. And exhale, left shoulder down. Inhale, lift. On your exhale, lower all the way down. Reach the hands back behind you. And lift the feet, lift the hands, lower, and this time left ear will come down towards your mat. Maybe shift the heels side to side, rocking out the hips. Stay here and breathe. Just relax the shoulders completely down into the mat. And then let's come back into our Shalabhasana pose. This time an option to interlace the fingers and lift the shoulders, lift the heart, lift the feet, lift the hands, everything lifting high. See if you can raise everything just an inch higher, heels, hands, heart. Stay here. Breath in. Breath out. Breath in, lift a little higher. Heart opening, not collapsing. And then exhale, slowly release, right ear to the mat. On your release, see if you can fully surrender, just like a belly shavasana here. So no tension, no strain, complete surrender for a breath. Let's bring the head back to center, place the palms under the shoulders, rise up for a cobra, and then press yourself back onto your knees. We'll come into a puppy pose here, extending the arms forward. Sit bones lift toward the sky, and the hips are aligned over the knees. You can rest the forehead on the mat, or if it's comfortable for your neck, gaze forward, chin resting on the mat. Just imagine the heart melting into the earth, shoulders broad and expansive, really opening up through the heart and the shoulders. We'll press ourselves back into plank pose, and then step the right foot forward and then spin over to the left side of your mat, coming into a prasarita pose. So the pinky toe edges of the feet are parallel with the short edge of your mat. And we'll fold forward. And then reach around behind you. Interlace the fingers. Hands move overhead as far as is comfortable for your body. Allow yourself the time and the space for expansion to take place. Oftentimes we float through these poses very quickly in our vinyasa practice. That has its own benefits. This has equal benefits to staying in a pose, allowing the ligaments to stretch, the joints to experience a greater range of motion. You might find as you rest here, you can actually move a bit deeper into the pose. Take another breath or two. Focusing your awareness on the shoulders, allowing them to open with each breath. Gently release the hands down to the mat. On an inhale, lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, walk to the top of your mat. Come onto the left toes, lower the left knee, and inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. And then we'll take that left hand, reach it down by the hip, and then the hand will reach up toward the shoulder blades. Right arm up and overhead, right elbow pointing to the sky. Maybe the fingertips touch, maybe the fingers interlace, maybe they're just reaching toward one another. Wherever you are, we'll take a few breaths right here. Think of pulling the right elbow in towards your head, so not letting it splay out to the side. Heart is opening. If the fingers are interlaced, slowly release those, and we'll all take a breath and reach the arms overhead. On an exhale, place the palms under the shoulders. Tuck the back toes, step the right foot back, and let's float into our plank pose. On an exhale, lower halfway, elbows hugging in towards the side of the body, and then lower all the way to the belly. On an inhale, cobra pose, heart beams forward, gaze to the sky. Think of dragging the mat backwards. Exhale to lower. Inhale, flow up into a cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale, rise. And exhale, surrender. This time, we'll press back onto our knees, taking a child's pose. And then from here, tuck the toes, lift the hips, shift back, downward facing dog. Tailbone reaching high. Feel the elongation that happens in your spine as you reach the sit bones high and allow the shoulders to melt down toward the mat. Stay with your breath. On an inhale, left leg reaches high. Exhale and step that foot between your hands. Place the left hand to the inside of that foot and then quarter turn toward your left, coming into Prasarita. Hands to the hips, rise up, stand tall. Take a breath in and breath out. Reach your hands around behind you, bringing the hands into a prayer pose. I'll turn so you can see. So hands are pressing toward one another. If this isn't accessible for you, you can just simply clasp opposite elbows, gaze high, And then on your exhale, lower down into your forward fold. Keep the hands pressing toward one another, palms magnetizing, elbows reaching out toward the sides. And even imagine that the fingertips are reaching toward the head. So getting a little more opening through the shoulders. And then stay here, hang out, and let your body release. On your next breath in, slowly begin to rise halfway. Release the hands underneath the shoulders. Quarter turn toward the top of your mat. One hand on each side of that left foot. Lower the right knee. And on your inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Again, taking time to pad the right knee if the knee is sensitive. And then let's lower the right hand by the hip. Left arm stays high, right arm reaches up the mid-back, left arm reaches down to find those fingertips. Maybe the fingertips meet, maybe they just reach toward one another. Press your heart forward through that gateway of your shoulders. We're going to stay here for about 20 seconds. Allow your body to sink into this shape, expand, elongate, and stretch. On your next breath out, release the hands and then sweep the arms overhead on an inhale. Lower the hands, step the left foot back, lower halfway, and this time come all the way into upward facing dog. And exhale, roll over the toes back to downward facing dog. Each time you come back to downward facing dog, use that as a cue to come back into this present moment. Deepen your breath, realign your mind with the body. On your next breath in, come onto your hands and knees, and then make your way all the way down onto your belly. Extend the arms out to the side with a 90-degree bend in the elbows. And then we'll take that left palm under the left shoulder and press onto the right side of the body, keeping the right elbow bent. Move very mindfully and slowly here. Use the left hand to press yourself into the pose. Maybe that left knee can bend and the foot can reach around behind you. Maybe not. Maybe you just stack the legs with a slight bend in the knee. Listen to your body. Breathe space into any tightness that you're feeling. Just imagine with your mind's eye that you're breathing spaciousness into the front of that right chest. And then let's slowly come back to our belly. And we'll We'll change sides. This time, left arm is extended, elbow in line with the shoulder, right hand presses under the right shoulder, and we roll onto the left side of the body. Knees can stack, or that top leg can reach around with the foot reaching behind you. Stay here and breathe. Give your body the time that it needs to expand, to elongate the muscles, and to open through the front of the chest. On your next exhale, make your way back onto your belly, palms under the shoulders, and then we'll press up into an upward facing dog, back to downward facing dog on the exhale. Take a deep breath in and release it on a full, complete exhalation. From here, we'll lower down to our dolphin pose, elbows and forearms coming onto the mat. And then lower the knees to the earth. Press up to hands and knees. And then let's extend the right arm up to the sky. On an exhale, swing it down by your hip and then forward. Take some big circles with that right shoulder, really getting into the full range of motion. And then we'll thread the right arm under the left, coming into thread the needle pose. So resting on the right shoulder, right ear resting on the mat. Left hand can stay planted on the earth or extend up to the sky and reach around to find the right hip if that's accessible. We want to keep the hips aligned over the knees and think of pulling that left shoulder back so it would stack on top of the right shoulder. And let's slowly release on the exhale. Plant the left palm on the earth. Come on back to the right hand. And then we'll just change sides. This time, left arm sweeps to the sky, and then swing that hand down by the hip and forward, taking some big shoulder opening rotations. Just expanding the range of motion, and then we'll thread the left arm underneath the right. Right palm can stay on the earth or extend up to the sky and perhaps around, catching that left hip. Think of keeping the hips level as you're here. Imagine pulling that top shoulder back so it stacks on top of the lower shoulder. All the while keeping the hips level and staying with the breath. Full deep breaths really allow for expansion to take place in your body. They signal to the muscles that it's safe. On your exhale, let's slowly come out of the pose, back to hands and knees. Just shift the shoulders right and left, and then come onto your sit bones. Coming into a cross-legged position. On an inhale, arms reach overhead. And exhale, let's lower the left hand, take that right hand and wrap it around the head and just gently leverage the head over to the right side of the shoulder. You might even take the left fingertips and point those down to the earth to get a little extra traction through the shoulders and neck. And let's slowly bring the head to center. Release that hand to the earth. On your inhale, sweep the left arm up to the sky, wrap that around to the right side of the head, and then gently encourage the head over to the left. Perhaps point the fingertips of the right hand to your mat. Again, breathing into spacious awareness, using the breath to fuel your practice. Let's release. Inhale the arms high and exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, lower the hands, drop the shoulders away from the ears. One more time, inhale, reach. And exhale, hands to heart center. We'll close out our practice here in our seated pose, bringing awareness to the shoulders. Think of encouraging the shoulders back and down. Use the breath to expand the space in the shoulders, in the neck. The weight of the world has slipped off of your shoulders with this practice. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.